Hello everyone, this is T-Bone 2004, and it's time to finish what I like to call the unholy circle of faggotry. I know I said back in 2011 that Sonic fans, furries, and the Animash community made the trifecta a fail, but one fanbase turned that trifecta into a circle, and now it's at its apex. With that said, we're not going to go out on a low note, but instead, I'm going to destroy this fanbase at its very core, then branch out to its many avenues. And by the end of this rant, you too will understand why I decided to not only end the Illogical podcast back in 2013, but denounce my stance in this fandom that I once called a breath of fresh air. But before we begin, I want to make a formal statement to one John Delancey. I respect your works as an actor, and I understand your stance on this fandom. You are a very respectable person and have made a difference in the lives of many, and I thank you for your wisdom and devotion to your fans around the world. I honestly hope that one day I can meet you at a convention somewhere down the road. Now, all due respect aside, I'm going to give anyone watching this a fair warning. If you are offended by anything that I'm about to say or show in this video, I'm going to give you a few seconds to look at your browser. Take your cursor to one of these two buttons, the back button or the close button. You can either click the back button to return to the front page of YouTube, or you can click the close button to close the browser. Either way, you won't be able to hear anything that I'm about to say. I'll give you 5 seconds to do this. Okay. If you're still here, consider yourself warned. I'm T-Bone 2004, and this is my rant on bronies.
Ladies and germs, it's time!
Bronies. You know who they are, you know what they do, so I'm not going to make any kind of long description about them. I'm just going to give you a brief history lesson. The brony fandom began around 2010 when the infamous message board 4chan began posting en masse pictures and videos of the new My Little Pony television series. At first, it was a quiet and closed group that would soon expand out once Season 1 ended. 2 seasons in, an entire fanbase was born overnight and would take the entire internet by storm. And soon enough, the entire world knew the name Brony. Now, as you know, I was once a brony myself, as stated back in 2012 when I adopted my new paradigm, T-Bone the Ranting Brony. While I retained the persona you've known me for since 2008, I was on the bandwagon for this fandom, stating that the show helped me get my edge back. Sadly, this was not the case, and during that time, I had produced some of the worst content I had ever conceived. If you don't believe me, I'd like to remind you of my worst rant I have ever done, Cartoons Are Dead, where I praised My Little Pony. Well, right now, the only show I can think of with that same charm, moral comfort, and value is My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. Despite the fact the show was made mostly for little girls, it's created a worldwide fan base and gives us that same moral comfort we once had before. Because let's face it, without that, cartoons are dead. Now, you would think that I would feel so much shame that I would not only remove the video because of that, but also because the fandom has shamed me as well. But you know what? That's not the case. Because you know what I can't stand about bronies? I can't stand the fact that these people are comprised of every single fan base I've ever ranted on. From everything to the Sonic fanbase, who became bronies because they couldn't stand the fact that they single-handedly destroyed one of the best video game franchises of all time, to furries, who tried to get away from their sick, disgusting individual friends, who caused some of the worst moments in their community, and finally, the Animash community, who used their quote-unquote creativity to make their headcanon reality, say that the creators of the show should follow their logic. Yes, folks, the brony fandom is everything I hate about all three of those groups. And that alone is just the tip of the iceberg. Let's start with the one thing that drives them, the show. At first, it seemed like a great TV show for everyone. The first 2 seasons proved to be the best animation and writing we've seen in the past several years, rivaling shows like Regular Show, Adventure Time, and the newest generation of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But let's look past all of that and read between the lines. Do you know what the real drive was behind this show? There! That's what drives this show! This wall-eyed Pegasus! Back in 2010, when 4chan first discovered the show, a headcanon was based around this character, who was dubbed by the fans Derpy Hooves. At first, you'd think it's a cute little gesture, but no. By season 2, it really got out of hand. If you recall the episode The Last Roundup, Rainbow Dash actually refers to this character as Derpy. The response? Here, let me play a clip for you.
I don't want to do any more damage than you've already done. I just don't know what went wrong.
Now, here's where things get illogical. After the episode aired, many parents who watched the show with their kids were not very happy that the character's voice sounded like she had a mental disability. Hasbro, not wanting to lose business due to this, quickly altered the episode. The fan base reaction? They caused one of the biggest uproars the internet has ever seen. And I can even relate to this. Back in 2012 when the episode aired, I was at a convention getting ready to get registered into the convention, and bronies were raising hell about out in the hallway. I sat there in the back taking this all in and asking myself, why would they do this? And why would they take this so seriously? Well, the situation got worse when bronies started going after Hasbro about this, saying, quote, "It's offensive to censor Derpy." So, let me get this straight. It's not okay for parents to be concerned about something they see on a TV show, yet it's okay for your fan base to act like a bunch of whiny brats when your favorite character is sidelined. Well, I raise my black flag of bullshit on that for 2 reasons. 1, in the words of Guardian Earth 128, and I really hate to quote this asshole, it's not Hasbro's fault, it's the director's fault. Why blame the company that branded the fucking product? You want to blame someone? Blame the crew who's making the show. I'm sure Big Jim Miller doesn't give 2 shits about your precious retard horse. Come to think of it, I don't think the crew even cares about what you bronies say or think. Name something the crew of MLP has done for the fandom that doesn't involve cameos or pop culture references. Oh wait, you can't. You know why? Because it's their decision, not yours. Get off your literal high horse and stop harassing these people. Number 2, you are not the final say-so when it comes to the show. This is the reason I hate bronies, because they feel that if something they like is changed, they'll throw a big bitch fit about it, claiming that the show staff doesn't care about their fans. Well, hey guys, here's something you could do. There's 2 buttons that you can use on your television. One of them turns the TV off, and the other changes the channel. Imagine that! If you don't like watching My Little Pony, you can change the fucking channel! It's that simple. Be sure to do that before you go and blast Tara Strong's Twitter with your hate tweets. I am so sick of seeing these elitist assholes pretending that they call the shots when in reality they have no control over anything except the shit they post on Tumblr. And speaking of Tumblr... All right. Get it out of your system. Oh yeah, I can tell already that I'm going to get a lot of hate for this. But you know what? Fuck you. I'm T-Bone 2004 and I don't give a fuck what you think. Tumblr, in a word, is awful. But if you were watching this video, you already knew that. After the explosion on 4chan, the new bulletin board site Tumblr became a breeding ground for many bronies, some of which include the legendary Mindless Gonzo and the Inverted Shadow. While these two examples have moved on to new endeavors, the majority of Tumblr consists of some of the most bizarre bronies there is to offer. I could name plenty of them using both my hands, but I'm gonna go ahead and pick the one that deserves no introduction. Princess Molestia. Oh yes, I can feel the fires of rage rising around me. Oh yeah, it's gonna get bad, folks, and you know what? I'm gonna be right, and you know it. Without question, Princess Molestia was the pinnacle when it comes to Tumblr bronies. Drawn by artist John Giuseco, this was, at the time, one of the most popular Tumblr pages, based off of a bizarre fanfiction that we're totally not going to get into right now because, that's the kind of shit I don't want on my videos. Anyway, Molestia would be dubbed by many voiceover artists, including Mindless Gonzo and MemJ0123, and Tumblr fans would lay in wait for the next comic dub, much like they would lay in wait for the next episode of My Little Pony. However, in 2012, John and his friends would come under fire when 3 different trolling groups instigated a raid on Tumblr, taking down Princess Molestia in the wake of false DMCA claims that YouTube was getting famous for, and so it oiled over onto Tumblr. To make matters worse, Hasbro eventually caught wind of this and ordered a cease and desist letter on John, and thus Molestia was banned from Tumblr as of 2013. Now, if you remember this incident, you might recall the fanbase's reaction, and if you don't, well, here's another visualization.